We are going to discuss about monolithic application and architecture. So in this presentation, we are going to learn about what is meant by monolithic architectural style, what are the benefits and its problem, and we are going to see some of the sample application where this kind of an architecture is followed. So the word monolithic, which represents in Tamil, it is vertical. In in other languages also it is given. So what is meant by this monolithic? It's a single large block of a stone. So it's a single large. So likewise here also some of the people while they develop an application, mostly when you consider uh, all the beginners, they'll start from one single application and there will not be any folders, subfolders, and there are different modules breaking down the architecture, and all the data will be stored in one single table or multiple databases they may not have. So such kind of application which falls under the category of monolithic. Till now there are applications in the market which is for a kind of a monolithic based application. But while you move from monolithic to the next level, that is microservice based architecture, the business and the profit of an institution increases. So first we want to learn here what is monolithic and why there is. So here also monolithic is a closed application. So not open for new ideas, monolithic society, rigid and ambiguous. Okay. So monolithic architectural style when you follow in your project or in your product design, it will be like this. And so front end, back end, database, everything together in one single compartment itself. But while you consider the monolithic architecture, it doesn't work well for manufacturing and in production industry of vehicles. Because one part of the module or the kind of a service will be connected by or linked with some other third party. Sometimes the own company can manufacture certain components, certain ideas, or they may use some other existing manufacturers products and they may integrate in their application for usage. And so such kind of models are followed in the in vehicle manufacturing industry. But at the same time, when one component get repaired, that alone can be removed from if everything is molded in one single stretch, it is impossible while there is a fault. And that is why everything is a small. Okay, while you consider a car, every particle is a small unit which are attached. Even there is a small screw, and instead of making it as a small screw, they can make it as one single set. And so such kind of problems when it come when there is a problem comes easily, they can remove or can repair and they can redesign those kind of a part alone, and they can modify such kind of a design alone which is creating a problem, and they may release it as a next version. So monolithic applications are single tiered. There are no or multiple layers, or when you have layers but more not more layers where multiple components are combined into one large application. So the term monolithic describes something glacial and large, which also resemble the concept of monolithic architecture. So when there is a glacier, okay, so the behavior of the glacier is it's moving very slow. Similarly, if you want to incorporate designing or modifications or bringing some updates, monolithic architecture, the solutions while you bring inside, everything will be very slow. But there will be user interface, the logical modules or the business logic while you incorporate the database will be there. But the same module should address more, or you may not have different classes, everything together you have put it in one, all the logic in one single compartment. It's very different, difficult to handle, because while you modify, you have to it will affect all other modules also. So sometimes you may not able to track and identify which module alone is producing the problem. So such kind of compartmentalization will not be there in monolithic application. So most of the beginners are following monolithic application, but in the beginning Netflix and Flipkart and everybody, they had this monolithic architectural style, and later on they moved from monolithic to microservices. So some more interesting information we can learn from this monolithic architecture, why it is used even in WordPress application also. The layer is like, okay, the clients will be there, and through the web server we are giving a request, that is an interface, and that will be connected with the developed with the PHP and with the backend MySQL, and there is a single code base will be there. So what is code base? Code base is a source code, that is not having multiple packages, maybe very few packages, within that entire code is written. This kind of an application is a standalone application, and maybe suitable for particular users alone, and if you want to modify it for other type of user, for example, your application payment option is, there is only one option, that is net banking alone, then it is following a monolithic style. And there are multiple payment options if you have included cash on delivery, payment through Paytm, other gateways are opened and integrated with your business application, which increases your business profit. So that is why you should write a code for single request point. The customer is supposed to do payment, that should be reflected back in your database, that the customer is paid. The customer paid the amount, but the request will be handled by different gateways. So if you incorporate such kind of gateways, different customers will be benefited and they'll be happy. If you have only one payment, okay, so that is why you can scan the UPI ID, but you can do transactions through different gateways are possible. So that is the problem with the monolithic architecture. While you consider one more example called the hospital management system, how it is using a monolithic style. In a hospital management system, all the modules are tightly coupled, not loosely coupled, and the open-close principles are not applied, like open for extension, close for modification. Certain things are supposed to be allowed. If it is tightly coupled, means there are no more modules. Okay, so very stringent. There is a dependent path. One is removed, it will affect all. For example, you are bringing a little discount modification. It is supposed to be reflected back in all databases, all table, all products. Or you're classifying, if you have a clear classification that only in textile or electronics you want to bring certain kind of changes. So all electronics this much percentage, all textile product this much percentage. But if you have put everything together in the monolithic application, it is impossible. You cannot able to classify these are belongs to electronics, these are belongs to textile based projects products. So when you apply the discount, it is very difficult for you to, you have to manually go and find out because this classifier is not there. So because the same seller can, some sellers are producing some unique products, and they are particular in one kind of supplier, and but the same supplier can do multiple. For example, they are the suppliers for textile bags and so many other things. If all things are available, okay, this kind of an discount application discount work, when they want to do it, it's very hard for them when they follow or when it is designed with the monolithic based style. So in hospitals also, if there are classified labels are not there, okay, so the services are not so all people are supposed to be, for example, at present there are good multi-speciality hospitals which are having a clear clear cut in reception itself. Like if you want to meet orthopedic problem, okay, so there is a clear section. If you want to go for any surgeons, okay, or eye specialist, or so based on some classification, it is easy for handling the request of different customers. So the customers. So similarly in application as well, the customer no need to go through the entire process, and only specific process they can choose in asynchronous one-to-one or asynchronous one-to-many. So such kind of ways they can go on. But in monolithic based hospital management system, every customer when they come, they have to go through okay, sequence of process. Their request will not be handled by multiple receptionists. Okay. So what does meant by code base? Because we have seen what is in monolithic style architecture is there will not be any code base. That means everything will be in one single layer. But what is, okay, for example, here while you see there is a GitHub based development. When you follow at present the students project or for any industry based project, multiple packages will be there. Reusability is possible, and redundant codes can be avoided, and there are other benefits. If you want to do modification in particular module, go and do it very easily. If those things are combined, product labels, classifications, discounts, price, offers, when you want to work, if such kind of folders, okay, there is a clear cut divisions are there, then it is easy for modification. So that is why in a monolithic architectural set, this is missing. Okay. So, so what is code base? It's a complete source code, and so it includes all the source files and like readme files, scripts, or license. Maybe it will be written in different programming languages. So that is called code base, or we can say it's a source of truth, right? So monolithic architecture, everything. There is no separate services, and the services also dependent, and there is no multiple pathways, and there is no asynchronous way of raising multiple requests at the same time. So all part of the applications are united through a single code base and user interface. But we have user interface, server side logic, and database application integration. Everything will be in a single unit. So if you want to change one component, you must alter all. So that is the problem with monolithic architecture here. So some other examples given. So load balancer will handle the request whether it is coming through the mobile application or through the web application. But here there will not be multiple. So everything will be handled by one single database, and there are no multiple databases. Okay. And so that is the scalability challenges will be there in monolithic architecture in extending the application, but it is best while compared to other applications when it is needed and to be developed very faster. So all these are the characteristics or the benefits or some of the challenges related to monolithic architecture style when you follow in your development. What are the disadvantages? So there are many advantages, but it is not suitable for modern architecture. And so what are the problems? Advantages are there and disadvantages also there, and we are going to learn about it. What are the advantages of monolithic architecture? So less cross-cutting concern. So what is when we cross-cutting concern? That is a part of a program rely or must affect many other part of the system. Changes in one will not be reflected, and or you have to go through each and every steps when you ask a small discount if you want to include. If your services are not classified, then there is a problem in going through each and everything code line, and you have to modify. But it is easy to develop, and it reduces the delay in development, simple and fast, and debugging and testing will be easier when compared to microservice. But there are disadvantages are there. Code complexity, all things, and flexibility in writing the code will not be there. So complex code and not classified, grouped. So new technology barriers, and it is not suitable for new DevOps when you want to shift, or new payment gateway cannot be integrated with the existing one. So that kind of a problem will be there. Interdependent components, the components are dependent, so changes one or removing one will affect all other components. So limited scalability, only everything there is a stringent policy, and if you want to increase or enlarge, more amount you have to spend. So slow in development also. All these are some of the disadvantages when you follow a monolithic style architecture. So in a consider there is an university application. So while you consider in an university information system, what are the modules will be there? Mainly deals with the faculty, student, and library and finance. While you divide when you go into deeper analysis, okay, it deals with admissions, students, at fees and attendance, user protection. So likewise, when you put all these are in a separate services, then it is easy. But when you put everything together as a small, only 4 modules, but here at least you have increased to 10 modules, 10 different services, then okay, somewhat better in satisfying the customer's requirement. So easy, and organization is also quick, and speed and productivity will be there. Easy to implement, okay, and but when you consider some other features of like we have discussed with the disadvantages, that should be taken care. And so you have to definitely move from a monolithic architecture to microservice based architecture to satisfy the customers in the modern realm. So here there are advantages and disadvantages are there. E-commerce application, advantages when you consider, okay, all these are there, but there are problem in tracking and satisfying the customers in a very faster way, efficient way. This monolithic architecture never works. So that's all about monolithic architecture, and all these problems are recovered in the microservice architecture. Thank you.